So today we're gonna talk about again the instanerd.me site. I guess this is what we're gonna quote unquote talk about. I'm gonna feature it, let's put it like this. I think it is just more clearly and it makes more sense if I'm putting it like this. So let's actually see. This is something that I've used for the last thumbnail because it was something that we've already gone through, and I thought, well, I do just not want to put anything in the thumbnail that's not going to be in the video, even though I am actually I'm actually not quite sure if it is in the video, but I think it is. I think it is, but it's not something that's really interesting. This was my concern. Anyway, Pamukkale is a mysterious place in Turkey, also known as Cotton Castle. There are 17 hot water springs in the area that spill out water in temperatures ranging from 95 degrees to 212 degrees, which contains a high concentration of calcium bicarbonate. The water flows off a cliff, cools and hardens into calcium deposits that form terraces. These terraces are as white as cotton and bright enough to be easily seen from the town of Denizli, or Denizli, however you pronounce it. But it looks very gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very, 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 very gorgeous. But I wonder how long this has taken, the water. It must be just several decades. The ZIP in ZIP code stands for Zone Improvement Plan. I see, and I think it is definitely an improvement because it makes things way fucking easier. The rainbow that you see is different from the rainbow seen by other people. There are no two persons who can see the same rainbow, even though both of them are standing at similar position. Yes, probably because you're not standing in the same position, because this is not working, because you can't stand in another person unless. No, not even unless. I thought about, if you cut two people in half, just assume that, and you put them together, then it wouldn't be the case either, because there is some space between the eyes then, or there's some space between like what he sees or what they both see. There is always going to be, no matter what you're doing, there's always going to be a little bit of a difference. So yeah, pretty interesting. Pretty fucking interesting. The sunlight is made out of all the colors of the rainbow. When it reaches Earth's atmosphere, the blue light, which travels in shorter waves, is scattered in all directions by the gases and particles in the air. The most of the longer wavelengths, red and orange, is it actually orange? I don't know. Pass straight through. That is why the sky is blue. And it's not because of some fucking reflection of the water. Complete bullshit. The acid in our stomach is strong enough to dissolve metal, but it doesn't harm the stomach because the stomach walls consistently renew itself. Which is, by the way, something that's pretty interesting, that, it is very inefficient, to be honest. Because, I don't know, if you constantly have to renew it, this just takes a lot of energy, this takes a lot of resources and material and stuff. I don't know if it would not have been better if this process wouldn't be there, because you could save energy for some other processes, like, I don't know, renewing cells and just some other shit. That is, I don't know, maybe more important. But I don't know, food intake is important, so yeah. When buying strawberries, first smell them. If they smell good, they will taste divine. If they just look gorgeous but have no smell, they will have no taste too. But by the way, this is something that we've already went through because I went to the article. But the thing is, who the fuck smells strawberries? And I've never thought that they actually smell like something, because I thought, they probably smell like nothing all the time. Because if you just, do you smell apples? If you cut them, of course you smell them, but just from the outside. Oranges for sure, because oranges are oranges. But I don't know. Fuck, man. I actually don't know. The name Italy comes from the word Italia, meaning calf land, perhaps because the bull was a symbol of the southern Italian tribes. The name Italy. It is not a name, I think it is a word, besides that. But it comes from the word Italy. Italia. Is this an English word? If it is, then just never mind. If it isn't, Italian name for Italy. No, it is Italian for Italy. Italia. I don't know. The only thing that I remember from Italian class is La mia madre è una persona molto gentile, which means that my mother is a very kind person, as far as I remember, or a nice person. This is quite it, just besides just some words, but yeah. Dublin was originally called Dublin, and I'm gonna spell it for the podcast listeners, Dubhlinn, meaning black pool. The pool to which the name referred is the oldest known natural triacle lake in northern Europe and currently forms the centerpiece of the penguin enclosure in Dublin Zoo. Interesting. Still, children start to recognize their reflection in the mirror somewhere around 18 months, and their self-recognition increases in the following months when they start noticing their nose in front of the eyes and try to figure out what the new object is. And yes, I think this is, as far as I remember, named the mirror stage, and it is something that's very interesting from a psychological perspective because yeah, I mean, you just notice that you are something, that you have a body, that you're not just, I don't know, something, even though you probably see your hands and your feet and whatnot, but you just don't really think about it. The thing is, important thing, we have learned it in school, and I do want to point out I've been attending a graphic design school, not a fucking psychology school, and so it is something that can be pretty important or at least pretty interesting, let's put it like this, for just quite everyone, I guess. So please look up the mirror stage and also Lacan, Lacan. I don't remember the first name, unfortunately, but he also did quite a lot with the mirror stage, and also kind of maybe he even just stated that or cited that the mirror stage. It might just be named or called differently, just in general, but he called it the mirror stage, as far as I remember. Let's just say it like this. Horses focus their eyes by changing the angle of their heads, not by changing the shape of the lens of their eyes as humans do. I see. I mean, I don't know how efficient it is for them, but for us it would be just very inefficient. Babies often lose hair during the first 6 months, which is perfectly normal and nothing to worry about. The reason for this is hormones. Before birth, babies have high levels of hormones in their bodies received from their mothers or mother. After they are born, these levels start to drop, and this causes their hair to enter in resting state. I mean, resting state, I want to underline that. It's... I mean, resting state for me doesn't mean that you're gonna lose everything. But well, anyway. Beer can reduce the risk of heart disease by slowing down the digestion and absorption of food and reducing cholesterol levels. A liter of beer contains an average of 20% of the recommended daily intake of fiber, and some beers can provide up to 60%. Yes, it is something that we've already seen, but I once again want to point out that there is more and different things that you can eat that have way more fiber than fucking beer has. For example, oats is having quite a lot, and fruits and veggies and all of that good stuff. They all have very high fiber. In case of minor burns, run cool, not cold water over the burn, or hold a clean cold compress on it until the pain subsides. Do not use ice. Do not use butter or any other types of grease. Why would you use butter? I mean, to some degree it makes sense, kind of, But ice, yes, definitely not ice, because I would actually be very concerned that my skin is sticking to the ice, and if you just pull it away, then yeah, it is what it is. By the way, I've had a fucking severe sunburn. At this point in time, it is 1.5 weeks ago. I still can't see it, and my skin actually peeled off, which is something that's pretty strange. But I mean, I can understand it. It was really red. Really, really, really red. And of course, yes, I'm having relatively light skin, so this is also kind of a factor, kind of a thing to consider and think about. But yeah, not cool, really not cool, especially because of the health issues that can come from that and all sorts of things. Hundreds of years ago, people put spider webs on their wounds because they believed it would help stop their bleeding. Scientists now know that the silk contains vitamin K, which helps reduce bleeding. But I don't know if this just works by putting it onto it. I don't know if the body can absorb things in that way. I kind of think it can, to be honest. I think it can. Then of course, I mean, you could have also eaten them, but yeah. Coal makes up 2/5 of the world's electricity generation. The United States produces half of its electricity from coal. China uses coal to generate more than 3/4 of its electricity. And Australia, Poland, and South Africa produce an even greater percentage. Well, I mean, at some point we have to think about something different. And I do believe that there's going to be something that's going to be more efficient than that. The skin on your mouth is 200 times more responsive than your fingertips. It is factual that lips are high on the graph of sensitive body parts. Even though I think for the man it is actually your fucking penis. I don't know for women. I think women in general do have more responsive skin, if this makes sense. In general, I think. Which might be due to some evolutionary thing, but I don't actually know. Anyway, let's move on. The first computer mouse constructed in 1964 was made out of wood by Douglas Engelbart, which looks actually pretty cool. I would use it. The Lord of the Rings is not a trilogy. It was cheaper for the publishers to break it up into 3 books than printing it in one large book. Yeah, I think makes sense. I mean, on the other hand, I do also want to point out that you can make more money with selling 3 books instead of 1 book, unless you make this 1 book very expensive, but chances are there that not a lot of people are going to buy it, but the chances there that still some people are going to buy it, which makes it kind of like, it doesn't matter actually, If you're just having 1 book and selling it for more, or if you're having 3 books and selling them for less. I don't know in terms of probabilities, but if you kind of think about it, it doesn't really change too much. Yeah. Period. Popcorn has more protein than any other cereal grain. It also has more iron than eggs or roast beef. It has more fiber than pretzels or potato chips. The thing is, popcorn is actually very, very good for losing weight because it is having so much volume and actually not that many calories. Popcorn. I do hope that I get some cool Google. No. Calories. Let's see. Whoa. 100 grams of popcorn are having 375 calories, which it is quite decent, to be honest. It's not 106 calories. I mean, you can eat half a kilo, 500 grams of fucking carrots, and get a third of this calories. So let's fucking talk about volume there. But I don't know. It's a variety of corn kernel which expands and puffs up when heated. The same names are also used to refer to the food stuff produced by the expansion. A popcorn kernel's strong hull contains the seeds, hard starchy shell, blah 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 blah. Yeah, anyway. And actually very high in fiber. 100 grams is having 13 grams of fiber. People say per 1,011 grams of protein. I mean, well, let's actually look up oats. Memorize it a bit. Okay. Oats. Because I don't really know the nutritional stats of oats. Come on. As if there is no just cool box from Google there. This is actually very... Let's do it like this. Can I get something? Thank you. Or not, then let's put like nutritional benefits, value, nutrient value. They actually want to just, anyway. nutritiondata.self.com. Okay, let's see. See what they're saying about oats. Of course, there's different types of oats, so it's very important to just get the right ones. Amounts per selected serving. Oh, I do have to select the serving. 1 cup. 1 cup is 150. So I always eat a little bit less than a cup of oats each day, which is 150 grams. Added with 700 to 800 grams of water, which is actually a very great consistency for a lot of volume, but it still doesn't just taste that shit. But let's talk about 100 grams. So 100 grams is 16.9 grams of protein. I'm actually not, well, okay, let's take it. My oats do not have that nice thing, but they also are a little bit lower in carbohydrates. Okay, fiber, 10.6 grams per 100 grams. So it is actually less in fiber, but actually a little bit of sodium. Zinc, 4 milligrams. Zinc is very important for immunity and stuff like that. Calcium, actually not that much. I thought it is more, quite a lot of iron, quite a lot of magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, water. Yeah, but yeah. And in terms of vitamins, it's actually not that good. But of course, you're gonna probably add something. I don't, to be honest. I don't add something to my oats. But in terms of minerals, it is actually very good. It's actually very, very good. Fats also pretty fine. Omega-3 fatty acids and also actually omega-6 fatty acids. I see. Interesting. I mean, it is actually a really healthy. What about barley, by the way? Because this is another grain that I eat because it is very low on the GI index. Barley nutrition value. Let's see. Can I? But they have a fucking box there. Fuck you, actually. Fats, 2.3 grams. The cool thing about barley is that it is actually also having 12 grams of protein. So if you eat, I don't know, 200 grams of barley, you of course do have to think about the calories though. I know, because they are not that low in calories. 100 grams are having 354 calories, as they say. But the thing is, if you eat barley and you probably eat something with it, which is going to be maybe lentils, which is maybe going to be beef, which is maybe going to be some other protein, then you actually get to quite a lot of protein, which is a pretty cool thing. Barley is also not that expensive. I think 500 grams cost $1 or €1, at least in Austria. But there's 17 grams of fiber per 100 grams. This is quite nice. It's really quite nice. Vitamin A, quite nothing. Calcium, 3 grams. Vitamin B6, 15 grams. Iron, 19, not grams, I'm sorry, percent. And actually quite a lot of magnesium. But I do source include USDA. Well, thank you. Anyway, I do think that I'm going to end the episode there. So I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. 3 other things that I'm having you are, or 3 other questions that I'm having you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change, and what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. Another question that is very important for me is, what could you particularly say to another person that is really going to change their life? Because I totally believe that we all can say something and that we all can do something, but particularly say something. And so yeah, please think about that. And yeah, I wish you the best from the bottom of my heart, and I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So bye-bye.